San Diego profile. Who we got in the building, man?
Yo, it's Tsuchi or Tsuchi Gumo. You know.
What part of San Diego do you represent, man?
I'm out of Claremont, but I basically I've been all over, but basically lived in Claremont my whole life.
That's what's up. We got a few people from Claremont that came here.
Yeah, I mean.
So, growing up, what were some of your influences?
You know, I came from a family that was super into music.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up listening to I'd listen to what was on the radio, and then on top of that I'd listen to Linkin Park. I would listen to Nirvana. I'd listen to hardcore, so I'd listen to Slipknot,
mm-hmm.
Korn. Really, I just was listening to whatever. My parents were super into music. My dad actually got me into hip hop with Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh yeah,
and
classic.
so ever since then, I've just kind of really loved and appreciated music. But yeah, I mean, what got me into doing hip hop and whatnot, I'd have to say, I mean, it's kind of corny, but Earl Sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But a lot of my big influences are Wi-Fi's Funeral, Isaiah Rashad, Earl Sweatshirt, like I said, Craig Zen, stuff like that.
That's what's up, man. This is some good influence, especially because that's Earl Sweatshop, he's from the West as well,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But that's what's up, man. So, let's talk about some of your previous releases, man. Some of your musics you released so far, even some of your background or what you have done already.
Yeah, so I mean, in high school, I was in and out of bands. The one band that actually took off was I was in a Truth Betrayed, and that was a deathcore, death metal, kind of band I did vocals for. And then I was in and out of some other bands that never really took off. The one that almost did was called, what was it? I think it was called Disengage.
Okay.
And that was a beatdown band, but I just kind of got tired of people flaking out with this whole band and hardcore stuff. So I went over to actually making hip hop. Homies just had me over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I used to go by a really cringy name called Versace Dead Dad. Then I went to changing it to just Tsuchi Gumo and then Tsuchi. And so since then I have a track with my homie Delivery Boy.
Mm-hmm.
That one's called Famous. I'm featured on. That was my first track actually doing stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did an actual track, my first track on my SoundCloud, which is called Behind Closed Doors.
Mm-hmm.
Then I produced a one-off track with it was a sad boy vibe called Sus. And then after that, I straight up just dropped my mixtape, The Death of Me.
So, going into the next part, basically just tell them how they can find you on the internet, your social media and stuff. You already said your SoundCloud, so go ahead and give them information, your Twitter, whatever social media you're using.
Yeah, I'm using Twitter, Instagram. Both of them is going to be _Tsuchi Gumo. It's spelled TSUCHIGUMO. And then my SoundCloud, of course, is soundcloud.com/Tsuchi Gumo Music.
That's what's up. Anything else? Instagram, any of that?
Twitter and Instagram, yeah, it's the same thing.
All the
The
same?
underscore and then Tsuchi Gumo.
That's what's up, man. So, my favorite question is, what are your long-term goals for what you're doing?
You know, I haven't really planned for long term. I'm just having fun with what I'm doing. And I kind of told myself the minute that stops being fun is the minute that I need to change up what I'm doing. I'm currently loving the products that I'm putting out, that I'm pushing. And I got a lot more coming up this year. So that's all I know is that I'm just going to keep grinding at this until I don't like it anymore.
There you go. Yeah, sometimes you got to enjoy the moment only.
Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then why are you doing it? I see too many people doing that, and it's just do what you love.
Exactly. Alright, man, wrapping it up, but this is the portion where you can put in your plugs, any shout outs, whatever you want to speak to the camera about, man.
Yeah, I mean, shout out over to the Mako boys over in Indianapolis. That's young Shinra, young Itachi. Shout out to them. Super supportive to me, helping me out. Young Shinra is he's producing a lot of shit for me right now. Shout out Disciples of the Canyon, of course. Definitely a big help to me. Definitely like solid guys. If you haven't listened to their stuff, which it's kind of like, what are you doing? And I'm gonna have to say, definitely shout out my homeboy Delivery Boy. He doesn't do much music, but he's good guy. And then shout out the homie Grimwit and Young Bushido Lord. Young Bushido Lord was on my project, The Death of Me. Definitely check him out. Doesn't post a whole lot, but you can find him around, or he's not even Young Bushido Lord anymore. He's Zanny Pacquiao. But yeah, and that's it, man. That's it.
That's what's up, man. Tell them one more time who they in the building with.
Yo, it's your boy Tsuchi, and you watch a motherfucking Disney Channel.
You gotta draw the Disney.
You gotta go.